All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I was not planning on making a video today on this, but I had enough questions that I think I'll take a look here. So it's an interesting disharmony in the sector. Okay, there were some stocks that did well. All right, High Tide's an easy one. VFF's another one. Most I would say did okay to nothing special. And oh man, my cat's there. What are you doing? Come on. No. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So I would I think put those two as an okay, but yeah, I think I still need a little bit more, and I think I have to still assume not the most bullishness of thoughts just yet, okay? Maybe a couple outliers that we'll get to. There's a couple important dates that are floating around, all right? This Friday is the Canopy USA vote. I'll talk about that again. It looks like there is an important Canadian date. I believe the 26th is what I saw, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But there have been a lot of comments about tax reform in Canada, and I've said it so many times. Any any laws that change in the favor of these financials, and I'm saying these words as a technical guy, right? But any financial improvements based on changed laws and government okays that were previously no's, that's a big step forward. Number one, it makes the books look a lot cleaner. Number two, it starts to make me believe, hey, if we can take that first layer off the onion, let's take off the others and get into it, right? So, yeah, again, I'm going to talk about the sectors, I think, as a whole, and then probably look at a couple individual charts. You know what, while I'm saying that, I'm going to pause this and we're going to open the fireplace. That's what we'll do the rest of the video. Give me 1 second to prep. I'm so sorry. 1 sec. Okay, sorry for 2 pauses on that opening, but before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is so appreciated, all right? So before we look at some of the charts, let's do something we haven't done in a while. Let's come to the fireplace, all right? So I'm gonna just kind of give you some thoughts here. I really do wish I had a little bit more like facts behind these, but again, we're here just sharing thoughts and opinions, right? Educated thoughts and opinions go a really long way, especially when they're in a good, safe environment, right? So no one's gonna hate on your thoughts. We might disagree, and hey, if you disagree with me, please do so, right? But respectful disagreement is a beautiful thing. So let's talk about a couple important things. So yesterday was earnings from TLRY. Again, I made the joke, and I very much say it. Look, TLRY did not include any other company in their earnings, right? It's not like they said, hey, CGC sucks. Hey, I don't like High Tide. ACB is boo-boo. You know, this, that, and the other. There was... The earnings were solely about TLRY. And let's be honest, it actually wasn't only about weed, right? Like, TLRY is a significant alcohol player. So all that said, when the king or queen dies, the empire takes notice. All right, and I've always called Tilly the chart, the king and queen of the charts, right? And yeah, it took a beating yesterday. It took a 40%. Sorry, excuse me, so wrong. A 20% gap down, right? Like, that's not good. That's something that the empire, the sector, is going to take notice, right? But some did better than others. Some didn't do extremely horrible confirmations, and I think overall I would say that's at least okay. But yeah, nothing to get too excited about, all right? Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I kind of wish I said this in the beginning, all right? I'm not here to spread fear. I'm not here to make it seem doom and gloom or any of that, right? But at the same time, I'm not here to be a fanboy. I'm not here to say everything is good and rah, 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 and rah, rah, rah when it's not, right? I'm doing my best job to stay as impartial as I can, even in a sector that I love, like I personally do, you know what I mean? So, that's some TLRY thoughts. Now, there is a echoing Tilray comment, but clearly it has to do with every single Canadian stock, right? There is an important Canadian date coming up. I believe it's the 26th. That's the second time I'm saying it. Please let me know if I'm wrong, right? But there are expectations for some tax changes and positive ones from what I'm reading from the comments, right? So number one, it's a good rumor to brew. Obviously, it's Canada, not U.S., and I'm going to sound like an ignorant American, but like the news would mean more if it was in the U.S. It would, right? But we're trading on the U.S. major markets here. At least that's what I'm talking about on my videos, right? But believe me, if there are laws that used to be no that are now yes, and they actually help companies in this sector, oh man, that's a beautiful thing, and that starts to make me believe in more. Okay, so I would say I am hopeful for the Canadian tax stuff. I am very, very uneducated. You can tell by the way I just said tax stuff, right? So let me know if you have any better details, right? I will one more time say, I'll give Canada some weight. I will give Canadian headlines and Canadian tax reform some weight. I don't think it would be as monumental as it happening in the US. And I'm not 100% sure it's as important as the third largest economy in the world making things legal. I don't know if Canadian tax, I'm making my hands up and down like a 50-50, but I don't know if Canadian tax reform headlines are going to be better or worse than Germany. And hey, maybe that doesn't even matter. Maybe I'm like doing a better or worse for no reason, right? But yeah, just some thoughts on that. Okay, the last one I'll talk about, and hey, if there are any other dates that I'm missing, please let me know. Right, throw them in the comment. And I'll do my best to add them here. The other date is Friday, and it's the Canopy USA vote. Okay, I mentioned this 2 videos ago. I don't think I said it at all on yesterday's, but I know I saw a comment. To me, I don't really I see it as a neutral event. Okay, number one, let's be honest, the vote's already done. I know it's on Friday, but believe me, the majority shareholders they all know how they're voting, and they all know how the other ones are voting, right? So there is no let's all band together and vote this, or like no, that's not how that works. Okay, so in my head, someone already knows if it's yes or no. I think it's a fair assumption to say that the assumption is yes. I think if the vote is no, that'll be an interesting deviation, and we'll see where those headlines go. But I think the assumption is the Canopy USA vote's going to be yes. I would say, based on my uneducated ability to read, I'm not pretending I read all the headlines better or I don't think it does anything good or bad to the actual CGC shares. I don't think it takes away. I don't think it moves attention. I don't think that there's a horrible conversion, right? Like, I think it's very, very neutral for CGC itself. I think there's maybe even a chance of a little bit of a bullish rumor that, hey, if they're starting to get ready for US, maybe they know something and blah, 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 right? I'll take it. Whatever rumor works, baby. I'll take it, right? But overall, I think it's a neutral. I think the vote will be yes. I think if the vote is no, that'll be an interesting little thing, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know if a yes vote's going to do much. All right, so all of that was my fundamental and otherwise non-technical thoughts. I'll chapter it at 8:35, and that's where we'll go into the technical. So again, I'm not going to go through every single company in detail, right? But got to start with Tilray. We did not recapture the 20 moving average. Look, there was an interesting wick. I for sure saw Tilray was green for a moment. It for sure surprised me. I always say, right, like you got to wait for the close of the day, right? That's why I make my videos at the close of the market. So it was an interesting wick. We are at these moving averages. We're at that 2 that I expected. And look, these are two very, very important lines. These 2 could have the strength and support to hold it. I don't know if it will. I don't like that volume. I don't like that RSI. I don't like that MACD. I have to assume no. When earnings are bad, I always assume that there's a follow through. And when I say they're bad, I'm not saying I read it and I heard it and I know it and I think my opinion. That's a market reaction. That's not a good reaction. And that's what I mean with that, right? So Tilray came down to the 2 lines as expected. We need to see what happens. We're either going to try to bounce maybe back to this 210-ish. I really still am saying I don't think we're breaking 220. I don't think we're breaking 220. But it would be horrible to lose those because we're going to come to 185 pretty quickly. We lose that and we're talking 160s and hopefully nothing worse than that, but we'll get there when we get there. All right. I am still worried here. I am not here spreading fear or this or that, but I'm not pretending when I'm seeing. Okay. Look, CGC, I would call this a neutral day. Okay, yes, we are physically under the 8 moving average. Yes, actually, yesterday we were physically under. Yes, we are 2 days under. No, this is not confirmation. All right. I said it on the last video too. Look, the last TLRY earnings was the 9th. It was this day right here. We were up here on the 8th and gapped down on the 9th. The 9th was a bad day too. All right. But we held. Obviously, it didn't get any better. But we held, okay? Let's see if we can hold. And I think that's not a bad expectation. At the minimum, the longer we can hold the 8, the more time it gives the 20 moving average to catch up, and it makes that fall from the 8 to the 20 more manageable. Let's word it like that, right? But look, if we can close at 970, let's do 975. Let's call it 975. If we can close right there, I would start feeling a lot more comfortable with CGC. At the minimum, I'll start to believe we're going to go horizontal like we did on the last TLRY earnings, right? We need volume to pick back up, but I think if we can hold, that'll do good things. I already talked about the Canopy USA vote in the first half of this video, right? I'm going to get to high tide shortly. SNDL. This was another one that I would call neutral. Listen, I know we are under the 211 resistance. I know we are 2 days under the green 8 moving average line, right? I'm still calling this neutral. I am. Now, this did a little bit worse following the TLRY earnings, right? This one did not stay horizontal. It did not stay horizontal. It came down a bit, but it wasn't a horrible bit, right? So I think there's still a little bit of me that thinks we're going to hold this 211 line. Again, I think tomorrow either way, we need one more confirmation, right? So kind of the same thoughts with CGC right there actually as well. High tide VFF, I'll come back to. MSOS, real quick, let's look at MSOS. I don't know if I want to call this one concerning yet or not, right? This one's not as pretty, but hey, look, the 20 moving average is working its way on up. Let's bounce on the 20 and make its way on up, right? So not as pretty as it was, not as confident that 1050 is going to break. Not crazy worried, especially because we're over the 20 still, and that 50 is not too far down below it, right? So I think I'm still okay, but like I said, just, yeah. Let's come into the good half. So now, again, I'm not going to break the chapter necessarily, but look, number one, if you're in high tide, great. I love this, right? This is a good, nice candle. We're on the resistance. We're obviously over the 8 moving average. We're much higher than 50% of the last green candle. Like, it's a good day. This for sure is. As a sector, I'm not sure what to think of this. I'm not, right? Because I don't think I saw any headlines that were high tide specific that said, let's go green right here, right? The exact same comments on VFF. I don't think I saw any headlines that said VFF deserved this. Cron, I don't think had a green day. I think Cron also had a neutral day. Yeah, same neutrality as the other ones, right? But high tide, VFF, and ACB, I think was the other green one. Yeah, listen, with these ones, again, I don't know if I saw anything that warranted them to go up. I like that the 3 of them all did the same thing. They all regained the 8 moving average. They all did better than 50% of the big candle next to it. This one doesn't even have that much of one, right? And they're all looking good. I mean, I have nothing else to say, right? And again, look at this. High tide crushing it with the volume. I can't stop talking about the volume on high tide, right? So it's an interesting disharmony. It's at least one that's making me okay. I am still for sure bearish on TLRY specifically until I see something better, all right? So let me know your thoughts. I didn't think this was going to be a 15-minute video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. But yeah, hey, you know I appreciate you all so much.